Hey guys, it's Dude from Denmark here. Spoilers for the new Commander 2015 have started today and go throughout this week. So welcome to the first episode of Commander 2015. Let's check out the new spoilers we have. The commander I want to show today is called Kalimne, Disciple of Iris, and is the red and white commander that costs you 4 mana to cast, and is a 3/3 with double strike and vigilance. Whenever you cast a creature spell converting mana cost 5 or greater, you get an experience counter. Kalimne, Disciple of Iris gets +1/+1 for each experience counter you have. I can already say that the other commanders I'm going to show you is also about all this experience counter thing, which at first seems a bit weird, but I'm looking forward to see if we get cards that will interact with the experience counters you have. The cool thing about this is that apart from poison counters, this is another counter you can have on yourself, not your creatures. So whenever you cast a creature spell with converted mana cost 5 or greater, you get an experience counter, and you get that all the time, and it will actually stay on you. So if this commander will die, for instance, you will still have these counters on you. So when you return this to the battlefield again, cast it or whatever, it will still have 1/1 for each experience counter you have, which is kind of crazy because you could have 3 experience counter or whatever, so it would be a 6/6 double strike vigilance when you cast it again or something. So this is definitely pretty sweet actually. A red and white commander that doesn't care for life gain or dealing damage and so on is kind of weird, but more about the heavy creatures. So it's kind of funny to see that in this color combination. But I think it's cool that we get something different from red and white. So it definitely seems like a nice commander. Daxos the Returned is the white and black commander that costs you 3 mana to cast, and it's a 2/2. Whenever you cast an enchantment spell, you get an experience counter. For 3 mana, you can put a white and black spirit enchantment creature token onto the battlefield. It has this creature's power and toughness are each equal to the number of experience counters you have. This is pretty neat if you're one of those people that want to make an enchantment deck out of commander, because now you actually have an enchantment commander, which is pretty awesome, I think. It would be even more sweeter if Daxos was an enchantment himself. That could be really fun interactions with other, constellation mechanic where whenever enchantment enters the battlefield or something, special will happen. But I definitely think it's a nice commander for such little mana. It is a bit weak, but again for 3 mana it's pretty neat, I think. Of the Is Magnus is the blue and red commander, which is a 2/2 and costs you 4 mana to cast. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell with converted mana cost greater than the number of experience counter you have, you get an experience counter. Instant or sorcery spells you cast cost 1 less to cast for each experience counter you have. This is a typical blue and red, of course, but the interesting thing here is that, again, with the whole experience counter, is that if this one dies and you get to cast it again, you can just let off from where you were with the experience counter. So if you have 5 or whatever experience counter, you could cast the sorceries and instant kind of freely, which is pretty neat. So it definitely seems like a crazy commander if you want to build around instant sorceries. The rest of the experienced commanders we haven't seen yet, but each commander set will have 2 different commanders, where one of them isn't about the whole experience counter thing. One of those is Casesto Orici Archmage, and it's green and blue and costs you 3 mana to cast, and it's a 2/2. For 2 mana, you can let target creature can't be blocked this turn. If that creature is a snake, it gets 2/2 until end of turn. This is pretty interesting if you can find some really good snakes to build a commander deck around, and since it gets it becomes unblockable, and plus it gets 2/2, it can be really scary what you can do with this. So it's definitely interesting to see what new snakes will also get in this commander product. The last commander we have seen today is Mazirek Crowl Death Priest, and is the black and green one that costs you 5 mana to cast, and it's a 2/2 with flying. Whenever a player sacrifices another permanent, put a 1/1 counter on each creature you control. Notice that this sacrifice is permanent, which means that maybe this set will also have a lot of interactions with the opponent have to sacrifice something other than creatures, and you also can, of course, yourself sacrifice something other than creatures. So it's pretty neat that it's a permanent and doesn't have to be a creature. Giving a 1/1 counter to each creature control is pretty neat, so it definitely seems like a really nice commander. There are also commanders that were shown today, so let's take a look at the other cards from the commander sets. Banshee of the Dead Choir is a black spirit creature that costs you 5 mana to cast and is a 4/4. It got the new mechanic called Myriad, where whenever this creature attacks for each opponent other than defending player, you may put a token that's a copy of this creature onto the battlefield tapped and attacking that player or a planeswalker he or she controls. Exile the tokens at the end of the combat. Whenever Banshee of the Dead Choir deals combat damage to a player, that player discards a card. That was a lot of text for a new mechanic, but basically you just get a copy of this creature for each other opponent there is, which seems really good, of course, in a multiplayer game where you play against a lot of other opponents. And again, if you, for instance, have 2 or 3 outs of those, and they get to deal combat damage to a player, a lot of players will discard a card. So the mechanic seems alright, I think. We also have an equipment with this new mechanic, which actually seems really crazy because there are a lot of annoying creatures we could copy, and you will get a lot of copies out again if you play a game with a lot of different players. So it actually seems really crazy what we will see with this mechanic. So I'm looking forward to see the other cards we're going to get, because already now with this equipment, this just seems really crazy. The last card I want to show today is called Fiery Confluence, and it's a red sorcery that costs 4 mana to cast. Choose 3. You may choose the same mode more than once. Fiery Confluence deals 1 damage to each creature, or it deals 2 damage to each opponent, or you can destroy a target artifact. For 4 mana, this actually seems really crazy that you, for instance, can deal up to 6 damage to each opponent just for 4 mana. What? But you can also spread out 1 damage on 3 different creatures, or give 3 damage for 4 mana to 1 single creature. So there are a lot of options here, which seems really good. But again, for 4 mana, it seems really crazy and really good. Those are the cards I wanted to show today. You're more than welcome to leave me a comment what you think about these new commanders and the cards in general we have seen for the new commander set. Whenever there are new spoilers coming out, I'll be making a new video, so if you're interested in this, you can subscribe to me. Until next time, have fun guys.